Hello, everyone. My name is Terrence Tarver. I'm a doctoral level practicum student here at the Student Counseling Center, and today I'll be presenting on taming the stressing thoughts. Almost every minute of your conscious life, you are engaging in self talk. These are the senses with which you describe and interpret the world. For example, maybe you're studying for an exam in a subject that doesn't come easily to you. You may start to think to yourself, this is too hard, or I'll never be able to do or learn this. You then feel sad and frustrated. Perhaps you think you're a failure, and then you give up. Our negative self talk has a funny way of leading us to behave in self defeating ways, thereby giving us more ammunition to put ourselves down. It can be a very vicious cycle. There are many consequences to negative self talk. So, for starters, negative self talk reduces substance physiological arousal, such as tension in the body, and increases in stress. It also has increases in anxiety, depression, rage, guilt, jealousy, shame, and feelings of worthlessness. At the root of all irrational thinking or negative self talk is the assumption that things are done to you. For example, that really got me down, or you made me so angry, and other things of that nature. That's not always the case. Nothing is done to you. Events happen in the world, but those events are only partially related to ensuing emotions. Between the event and the emotion is realistic or unrealistic self talk. The self talk is what produces or impacts emotions. You experience activating events symbolized by A, engage in self talk, which is symbolized by B, and consequently experience an emotion, which is symbolized by C, resulting from that self talk. A does not cause C, B causes C. If your self talk is distorted, negative or irrational unpleasant emotions will undoubtedly arise. So let's take this scenario for an example. Taylor finds out that she wasn't invited to a party, but her friend Madison was. Taylor thinks to herself, Madison always gets invited to things, but I never do. I'm such a loser. Nobody likes me. She gets very sad, doesn't go out with her other friends, and spends the night alone in her room. Within this scenario, the activating event or A is that Madison is not Taylor didn't get invited to the party to which her friend was invited. The beliefs that Taylor has are I'm such a loser and nobody likes me. And the resulting consequences and emotions are that she feels sad, even depressed, has no motivation to engage with other friends, and socially withdraws. Now let's try an alternate reaction to the scenario with another person named Anna. Anna has a very much different reaction to the event. Anna's reaction includes, excuse me, that's disappointing, but I actually don't know Shelby very well. Madison knows her far better. That's probably why I wasn't invited. Maybe next time I'll be invited. She goes for a run, finds a funny new show to watch on Netflix, and calls a friend to come and watch it. The activating event remains the same, but Anna's beliefs are different. Thinking that she wasn't invited because I actually don't know Madison very well helps Anna to let go of initial feelings of disappointment, do things that help her feel more positive about herself, and enjoy the rest of the day. Using the ABC model can help us develop key resilience abilities such as emotional regulation, impulse control, causal analysis, and empathy. So there are two common forms of irrational negative self-talk, which are awfulized and absolutized. We awfulize by making catastrophic, nightmarish interpretations of our experiences. For example, your partner doesn't answer a text right away, so obviously they're cheating on you. Or a momentary chest pain is automatically a heart condition. Or that the grim professor is going to fail you, and things of that nature. The emotions that follow awfulizing are, for lack of better terms, awful. We're responding to our own description of the word. We absolutize things when we believe other people or things should or must be a certain way, or that we should be a certain way. Any deviation from that standard is bad. The person who fails to live up to that standard is bad as well. In reality, the standard is what is bad because it's inflexible and narrow minded. So, simple belief effectiveness. So, we can learn to refute these irrational ideas and learning to refute these irrational ideas also helps to heighten insight reduce the frequency and intensity of negative feelings, and increase problem solving skills. For example, instead of thinking I'm not good enough to learn this material, we may alter that thought to say that I just need more practice and more studying with this material to get better. Instead of thinking that nobody likes me because they didn't invite me to the party, we may change that thought to I don't really know this group of people that well. So that's probably why they didn't invite me. By doing this, we can have a better control on these distressing thoughts and beliefs that we hold. So, how do we do that? We start by becoming aware of the negative automatic thoughts. Uncovering irrational or negative self talk can be difficult because it's so automatic. These thoughts are lightning quick and we're often not even aware of it. The best way to uncover this self talk is to ask yourself, what am I telling myself about this situation? When you find yourself anxious, angry, sad, frustrated, or any of these emotions. So, refuting the irrational ideas, we first want to write down the objective facts of the event as they occurred at the time you became upset. You want to also write down your self talk about the event. Finally, you want to focus on the emotional response. Make a clear one word or two word label, such as angry, depressed, felt worthless, or anything of that nature. Once you've evaluated your automatic thoughts, try writing them down and rehearsing positive statements which directly refute or invalidate your negative self talk. If you've been creating upsetting emotional states through negative mental dialogues, you can begin to change the way you feel by substituting more realistic and compassionate dialogues. So again, as an example, we select the irrational idea that you want to dispute. And then you ask yourself some of these questions. For example, what evidence do I have to support this idea? What evidence do I have against this idea? Is there an alternative explanation? What's the worst thing that can happen? Could I live through it? What's the best thing that can happen? What is the most likely outcome? What is the effect of believing this idea or automatic thought? And what could be the effect of changing my thinking? Once we've gone through those questions, we can then substitute the alternative for a more realistic self talk that fits more of the scheme of what is going on. Remember, you can strongly believe an idea, even feel it to be true, and it can still be mostly or entirely untrue. Be patient. Doing this will take some practice. You've had years to practice your negative self talk and actually have developed some very strong habits. By starting to notice when you're engaged in negativity and then countering it with positive, supportive statements to yourself, you'll begin to turn your thinking around. With practice and consistent effort, you'll change both the way you think and feel on an ongoing basis. So there are many apps to download to help you with this. For example, Mood Notes, Mood Kit, Pacifica, iCouch CBT, and CBT iCoach. Google CBT or RABT worksheets, thought logs, and exercises. There's a wealth of resources out there. Practice using these skills every day over the next week. And that brings us to the conclusion of this presentation. Again, my name is Terrence Sarver, and I thank you all for taking up the time to learn more about taming the stress and thoughts.